Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Byronic, and this is TheNozzle, where you get the latest gaming news and information directly from my nozzle. For today's show, we will be looking at one of the most anticipated massive multiplayer online games of the year, Everquest Next. That's right. You know, I've been playing MMOs for over a decade, and it's become more and more difficult to get me on the hype train after many disappointments. However, I'm not gonna lie, Everquest Next has sparked that tingly part of me that still feels emotion. Before we make any decisions on whether EQ Next will become a beacon of light within a stagnant market, or fall to the graveyard of modern MMOs, let's take a look at exactly what EQ Next is, and what you can look forward to. Everquest Next is a free-to-play, next-generation sandbox MMO built upon a franchise that has developed what we know today as the modern MMO. While the origins of the MMO were founded on D&D and MUDs, the EQ franchise developed the modern-day tropes that we have come to use as pillars of the genre. EQ Next features some of these pillars, such as crafting, exploring, and combat, but one of the single most exciting features of EQ Next is their fully destructible environment. Everything, and I mean everything, can be destroyed in the game. Whether it's digging down to a unique boss or forging a path in an ancient ruins, it's up to you how to take advantage of your environment. It should also note that when they say everything can be destroyed, they don't exactly mean everything can be destroyed by the player. Say you're in the starting zone and you have 500 level 1s just chilling in the starting town. That town will be a parking lot. They have made it so that everything, yes, is destructible, but it may not be destructible by the player. You may see a dragon come in that town and lay waste to part of the buildings. That is their definition of being destructible. EQ Next will feature a procedurally generated, voxel-based underworld which can be explored solo or with friends. If procedurally generated and voxel-based confuse you, think of the ground beneath your feet in EQ Next as Minecraft in a persistent world. Holy shit. Now, EQ Next was not limited their world to simply destruction. You can also build. By placing your flag down on a plot of land, you can claim ownership to your very own 50 acres and a mule. If you're a Star Wars Galaxies veteran, you have most likely paused the video to wipe off your keyboard. If you're everyone else, let me explain. In EQ Next, you can own land and build upon or below it with Minecraft-esque utilities. This is all done in a persistent, non-instanced world. This is hands down the most exciting feature in an MMO in the past decade. Most MMOs have attempted to do player housing by creating instance worlds where they can lay down their very own domicile. Some have even gone the distance and created neighborhoods. But the problem of instancing has always come back and reared its ugly head. Now, you can show off your trophies of slain bosses within your mansion to the whole world, and potentially have it all destroyed by a 60-foot monster taking a casual stroll through your living room. EQ Next will be featuring a multi-class system, in which players can experience 40 distinct classes to match an absurd amount of playstyles. You begin your story by choosing a starting class, and from there, the rest of the classes can be discovered throughout playing the game. So far, we only know of 5 of these classes: the Rogue, Warrior, Tempest, and Blade Master and Wizard, that's it. While half your active abilities come from the classes themselves, the other half will come from weapon choices. Very much like Guild Wars 2, your weapon choices determine what some of your skills do. Personally, I'm not a fan of having weapon skills determined by the weapons equipped. It feels like to be the best at any one part of the game, you are pigeonholed into an ideal weapon choice. Now, it's obviously too early to speculate on this kind of information, but if EQ Next is advertising itself as a next-generation sandbox game, I wouldn't limit weapon choice on what is the best choice for the situation, but what weapon you like using most. Talking about Guild Wars 2, let's talk about the Holy Trinity system. Oh wait, they don't have one. That's right, EQ Next will not have a Trinity system with defined tanks, healers, threat, or aggro. Hands down, this is the most frustrating takeaway from the recent EQ News information reveal. While I will try to not generalize, I'm going to generalize this. In no way was the lack of a trinity system in Guild Wars 2 taken by the majority of players as a good thing. Now before you start yelling, "But Byron, this is a sandbox game and SOE might do it better." First, you're right, this is a sandbox game. I love sandbox games. However, I see no reason why players cannot choose predefined roles as you can in tabletop games such as Dungeons & Dragons, which probably sits as one of the most sandbox environments you can have in a game. Second, you're right, SOE might be able to make a non-Trinity game better than Guild Wars 2. Let's just hope they do. The final major topic I wanted to discuss was SOE's claim to permanent change and player decision. According to SOE, in EQ Next, the choices you make shape the world you live in and those around you. They go as far to say that entire cities can rise and fall, kings live and die, and even the gods may change. You know, every modern MMO claims, to some degree, that making decision has some meaningful impact on you and your environment. Likewise, nearly every one of those claims was complete bullshit. I don't want to appear negative, just skeptical. Until we know more, I'm gonna sit nice and comfy on this fence right here. With that, I'd like to give my final verdict on what we know so far of EQ Next. EQ Next is bringing to the MMO market what could possibly be the stimulation it needs to explode into a completely new direction. With the addition of voxel-based, procedurally generated environments and non-instance land ownership and housing, I can see EQ Next becoming the next big thing, no pun intended. SOE has truly stepped to the plate and taken the reins on what could actually deserve the title of Next Gen. In the coming months, I will continue to follow EQ Next and bring you the news that you deserve. I hope you enjoyed the first episode of TheNozzle. If you have any opinions on the recent news from SOE, please leave it in the comments below. With that, this is Byronic, and that's it.